What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to a very important webinar. We have a very important webinar, and what we're going to be talking today is about, maybe some of you guys on this call have potentially lost a customer or a client, perhaps to a rebate brokerage, a flat fee brokerage. Perhaps you're at a listing presentation and you're seeing people, oh, well, you know what? That company is going to save me 1.5%. Or you see companies like Zillow or Redfin going after seller leads and all this stuff. What the hell is going on? I mean, there's so much crap happening within the industry. We're going to actually bring on this is a very important call, because the gentleman who's the main topic of conversation today, Mr. Greg Hague, has an insight to this issue that I think a lot of realtors don't quite see yet. And the ones who do see it, I think, are on this call. And the ones who don't, I hope that Greg can go ahead and educate them a little bit further on what's going on and what Greg is doing on the plan to save the real estate industry. Greg Hague, ladies and gentlemen, I want to go ahead and introduce you, and let's all go ahead and introduce ourselves on the call here. My name is Mike Cuevas, real estate marketing dude. But without further ado, Greg, please go ahead and introduce yourself to the call and let everyone know who you are, and let's go Michael and Sam as well.
Yeah, well, I'm Greg Hague, and previous to this, I've primarily been building brokerages, selling real estate, just like probably everyone on this call. Been doing that, well, for a long time. I won't say how long. We were joking about it before the call that some of the people on the call are as old as my youngest son, so we'll just leave it at that. Let's just presume I had him when I was 15. So in any case, I'm doing a lot of real estate training and speaking, and then one day Zillow ticked me off. And, this isn't all just about that, but one day I got all mad when Zillow came out with a certain program, and that led me down a path that was unexpected and led me into the world of getting to know the other amazing people on this call, you, Mike and Sam, and we'll be talking about that later. So that's where I am.
And let's introduce Mike Bjorkman here from Los Angeles.
Hey guys, Mike Bjorkman. I'm a HomeSmart broker in Southern California. Got 4 offices, 260 agents. I've been in the business since 1991, about 26 years. So got a little mileage under me as well. And it's amazing to see all these changes from we used to have MLS books to now this Zillow and Redfin wars. So it's interesting for me, and I'm fully supportive of whatever we have to do to protect our industry. That's it.
What's up, guys? My name is Sam Kramian. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Big Block Realty. We have 700 agents in 3 offices, and we are number 31 on the Inc. 500 list for fastest growing companies in America, and #1 real estate brokerage, Mike Bjorkman.
I like the little jabs there. I didn't really have to have a moderator for this call, but I'm glad to take that role. So folks, as you can see, we have some people that are doing big numbers, big deals. These are industry leaders, and they know what the hell's going on within the industry. So we don't have a lot of time, but I want to turn it on over to Greg. And Greg, I want you to sort of tell us the story on what we're all doing here. And I want to give you the floor, and let's keep this conversational. Let's keep it up. Let's see what you're doing, how you're single-handedly taking this issue on, and let's go from there.
Well, first of all, it certainly isn't single-handedly. I have a lot of people around me and helping me. But a fun story first. So, Mike, you made a comment about the 3-ring binder days, the MLS 3-ring binder days.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So were you by any chance, you couldn't possibly have been back in those days. You're way too young for that, right?
Oh, no, I was. Every Friday we got our MLS book, and we had DOS MLS when it first came out, and you had to have a degree to figure that out. It was different times back then.
So, me too, and in fact, my dad owned one of the first MLSs in the country back in Cincinnati when I was like, I don't know, 12, 13 years old. It was called the Cincinnati Property Exchange. This is like in the way early days of MLS. And if you remember, you don't, the mimeograph machines, I used to mimeograph at night for 50 cents an hour, mimeograph these sheets to go in the 3-ring binders, and then I'd get in Dad's car and we'd distribute the 3-ring binders out to real estate offices all through Cincinnati. So believe me, and then later on I sold a lot of real estate, Mike, out of those 3-ring binders. I get it.
That's great.
Yeah.
What's a 3-ring binder?
Yeah. So it's interesting because I had some guys, we since had a fun Facebook Live, but on Inman News they did a little fun jabby video about me because I did a video that was something like this. Hey, do you remember the 3-ring binder days? Those were the days when buyers needed us, sellers needed us to get to the buyers. We were in control, but oh my gosh, look at what's happened. We gave our data away to all these other people and we've lost control. We have to give it back. So they were jabbing at me saying, this Greg Hague wants to take us back to the 3-ring binder days. And I was thinking to myself when they were jabbing, darn right.
Hey, you know what? I take a 3-ring binder over Zillow and Redfin and all these cacas any day.
Totally, totally. So, all right, so here's a little background. So my background, I've grown up in real estate. I am an attorney, but my dad owned a real estate firm in Cincinnati. So after I got out of law school, I was only able to have the education that I had, college and law school, because my dad, who was a high school graduate and lost his father when he was 3 years old, he grew up poor, single mom, because my dad, after World War II, where he was a fighter pilot instructor, because my dad got a job with a small real estate broker in Cincinnati and discovered the world of entrepreneurial real estate. And it was like a whole new world. Before I was born, opened up to my dad and my mom, the idea that you really could have unlimited income opportunity and potential, that you could, if you learned a business, you worked insane hours, because even as I was growing up, I remember my dad did, sometimes he would stay at the office all night and come home. And I wrote about this on my Savvy Dad blog. That's the blog for my book on fathering. I wrote about how my dad in real estate would work at the office all night, sleep on a green leather couch. It's called the green leather couch. Come home, shave at like 7 in the morning, take my sister and me to school, and then go back into the office and just catch naps on his green leather couch. No hearts and violins, no feeling sorry for him. He loved it. The idea that you could have unlimited, not have to report to a boss, be your own boss, build your own business, build your own brand, have unlimited income opportunity. Sure, sometimes you have stress, sometimes you don't know when the next closing is. That goes with being an entrepreneur, but there is no better business in the world, in my view, where for less capital, the bar to entry being, people criticize the bar to entry in real estate maybe sometimes being so low, like with attorneys it's a much higher bar. I celebrate the bar to entry being reasonable so that more people can get into this entrepreneurial business. I celebrate that. I don't agree with all the people that want the bar to entry to be so much higher. I want people to have this opportunity. So that's been my life. I've built a number of real estate firms. After selling real estate for years, I was the #1 realtor in Arizona for many years. Then I got into the luxury home market, became the #1 realtor in luxury home sales. I built several real estate firms, including one, when I sold it, had 121 offices, 4,000 agents, built that over 7 years. So I've stood in a lot of shoes, chosen to make real estate my life, not law, not other things, a lot of other opportunities. I love this business. And that, then I'll fast forward to just a few months ago. A few months ago, I'm enjoying my life. I have kids that are the age of the other panelists today, and I have a ranch in Wyoming, a nice home in Scottsdale, all through selling real estate. Hard work, no inheritance, just working, building brokerages, selling real estate. That's given me financial freedom. And I was one day, I think it was May 22nd, I read, I've never liked some of the things that Zillow, for example, has done, like posting, but I didn't get all whacked out about it. But you know, over the years, I watched companies like Zillow, and I'll just use Zillow as an example. This isn't about Zillow today, but I'll use them as an example. You know, posting their own valuations next to sellers' asking prices. I mean, I want you to think about this. You list a home, you run an ad, and you put your own valuation next to your seller's asking price in the ad. The Department of Real Estate would drive out to your office and take your license away that day. You wouldn't even get a hearing. They would say you were too stupid to have a real estate license to do that. And yet, every single day, that's what happens with Zillow. We just blithely upload our listings and they post some valuation next to our seller's asking price. I mean, we've gotten numb to it. It's so ridiculous, it's insane, but we just have gotten numb because that's the world we live in, so we've accepted it. Another thing is posting agents next to your listing to make them appear like listing agents so that buyers will call them instead of you. I mean, imagine if you did that. Imagine if you take your sellers and you did this. You list houses And then you go around to the agents in your office and say, look, I'll charge you $150 and I'll put you all around this listing I just listed, because I don't make money selling houses. I make money listing houses and then selling ads to you guys so you can get the buyer calls. Are you kidding? Again, Department of Real Estate, get in their car, come out and remove your license because you'd be too stupid and dangerous to be in real estate. And yet we put up with that with Zillow and other companies. However, I just, like you, went with the flow. I just accepted it. I didn't like it, but I didn't do anything about it. I don't deserve any gold stars because I just let it happen like everybody else and complained a little and then moved on, sold real estate and made money. But then on May 22nd, Zillow rolled out a program called Instant Offers. I read about it, I think, in Inman. And I thought, are you kidding me? This is a company that we have given our listings to. It's built its brand with our listings, and now it's using this program where it says to sellers, hey, we've got 15 institutional investors. Come and sell your home to one of them. No realtor has to be involved. We'll make you an offer, et cetera, where they're taking our listings, building their brand, and then using that brand to take our listings away and filter them to institutional investors. But even worse, I knew right away how many home sellers were really going to sell to these 15 institutional investors and pay a 9% service fee. How many sellers are willing that you list to list for a lower than normal price, like below value, and then pay you a 9% commission and say to you, oh, I don't want any help? Because that's what this program really is. Sell at a wholesale price to an institutional investor, pay 9% and not get any help. I thought, nobody's going to do that. This is just a lead gen sham to capture these sellers and sell them off to agents who pay for leads, divert them to agents who are paying, rather than agents like me and hopefully agents like you who have busted your ass and built your brand like I've done for 50 years. And so that ticked me off. I went into GoDaddy for just mad, $8.50. I buy the URL, Stop Zillow. I'm thinking to myself, wow, I can't even believe they let that be available. Truly, $8.47, I buy this thing. I write this little petition to NAR. I mean, I don't want to get involved. I'm just petitioning NAR. NAR, for gosh sake, do something about it. Enough is enough. And I get 41,000 petition signatures. NAR comes out and says, you know, we just can't do anything. We're afraid we'll have the world of antitrust all over us. I mean, I'm not asking them to do anything except go to Zillow and say there's a lot of ticked off realtors out there and you need to reconsider instant offers. So that thing kind of exploded, and that took me to today. After a month or two of getting, and I mean literally thousands of emails, my team that was previously helping me build my training company, Real Estate Mavericks, is consumed with just helping me answer emails from agents who have stories and are ticked off and have had so many things happen. I finally decided one day, you know, Greg, you've never lived your life in a sea of negativity. That's not been you. And just complaining about Zillow is going to go nowhere. You've got to do, if there is anything that can be done, it needs to be a positive thing, a competitive thing. It needs to be something where consumers make a choice. Is Zillow the better platform, or is some other platform the better platform? And then I got thinking this. Isn't it crazy that a profession that sells homes doesn't have its own website to market those homes, that we have to depend on third-party websites? Because, as you probably know, Realtor.com, who we all thought probably would be our official website, was sold off a few years ago to Rupert Murdoch. It's no longer our brand. And so what I did is I thought, well, I know this sounds ridiculous, and I'll kind of finish up this part with this. I know this sounds ridiculous. I mean, I'm a broker in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm not a major national figure. I've made my money selling real estate, just like everybody here, and building real estate firms and helping agents do better. And I love this business. But I thought, wonder if I could develop a website that would truly be better than Zillow. And the number one goal, not broader, not do more stuff, just have a website that would do one single thing. And that was to take our buyers back from Zillow. And when I say take, I mean that make it a website that buyers prefer, that they want to go to before Zillow. Make it something that when buyers learn about it, they think, oh my gosh, I got to check that out before I go to Zillow or Redfin. Nothing wrong with Redfin. I respect those guys. You may not like them. I don't know them personally, but you may not like their model, their discount model. I don't either like that, by the way, but Redfin is a company. We have to learn to compete against those kinds of companies. You know, Zillow's a different deal to me. We built Zillow's brand. We didn't build Redfin's brand. They built their own brand. And good for them. We just need to learn how to be better. But I thought if we could capture the buyers from Zillow and Redfin and all the other places out there where our website, not mine, not Sam's, not Mike's, but our website, collectively, a website owned by the real estate profession. And by the way, I don't mean NAR. NAR is fine. They do what they do. I don't have anything against them or for them or whatever, but a website that you guys, me too, Sam, him, all of us have some ownership in, where we vote for a board and they run this thing, and that goes into perpetuity. And it's the #1 website for buyers because there's something about it that buyers just can't resist. I thought if I could do that, I'm going to be honest with you, what's in it for me? I thought this would be something I'd be proud of for the rest of my life. I mean, after a heritage in real estate, my mom's a realtor, was a realtor, my dad was a realtor, my kids are realtors, my wife is a realtor, my friends are realtors. I thought this would be so cool if I could pull this off. And so I spent, and I'm serious, over $100,000 in consulting fees out of my pocket that I earned out selling real estate, and brought in some really smart people, and we came up with an idea. And one of the people on this who's signed a non-disclosure is aware of exactly what it is. Sam knows that. I shared it with Sam. Respect him so much, met him, trust him. I shared it with Sam. And it's an idea that I thought, oh my gosh, when I thought of it, I shared it with some people. I wonder if this would work. And I shared it, and we tested it. And here's what we found in tests. This one little feature of the website we're building. When buyers have a choice, when buyers learn about this, we surveyed a bunch of buyers here in Phoenix and just floated out an if question. 94% of buyers who had a choice to go to this website with this feature that we're building versus Zillow chose this website. It doesn't mean they wouldn't also go to Zillow. They said they would go to this website, what will become our website first. And here's what's so super cool about it with this amazing feature we've got. They said they would call. This is what's so amazing. They will not just go to it, but they'd be inclined to call the realtors who have listings on it if they liked anything they saw about those listings. And I mean, pick up the phone, bang, and call them. And we built in a feature in a downloadable app that'll go along with this website that makes that really easy for consumers. And the goal is to have all of you not only have the buyers, have tons more buyers, not have to pay lead fees, but have those buyers, I hate to say this, like the old days, calling you, talking with you about your homes, getting to know you, rather than having everything simply be digital. I am such a believer still in person-to-person communication. It's the way people, in my view, are better represented buying and selling houses. So, sorry I talked so long, but here's what we're doing. We are building this out. We are so excited about it. We just can't, I mean, we're just crazy excited. We are going to roll it out February 19th. It'll be introduced nationally on video stream at my home, from my home, February 17th. I know Sam will be here at my website launch party, and love to have Mike and Mike here. And it will be unveiled nationally. We'll show you the secret sauce, what this website does that no other website has ever done. Why buyer? You'll see right away. You'll say to yourself when you see it, oh my gosh, every buyer in the country, when they learn about this, is going to hit this website. The downloadable app, we'll unveil it all on the 17th. We're launching it on the 19th. And then we have a crowdfunding site. If you go to plan2saverealestate.com or our old stopzillow.com, it doesn't matter. They all go to the same place now. We no longer have all this negative, Stop Zillow, whatever. I'm off of that. This is about a positive thing, building a website. So you could use any of those URLs. We have a crowdfunding site where we ask you to be involved, contribute, get first access to use the website, contribute anything. I don't care how much. I'm funding this website. I want you to know it is being built. This is not a typical crowdfunding. I'm simply asking for help, asking for people who believe in this, who support it. If you're short on money, contribute $1. I don't care. It isn't about that. We've got some great perks. It's simply about you giving us, saying, I support this. I hope it works. I'd love to give it a try. Go in and contribute 10, 25 bucks, whatever. And that's what we're doing. Be assured this will launch February 19th. You will have access wherever you are in the country. If you've contributed anything, well, 25 bucks is what we say up there. If you contribute 25 bucks, you will have access to use this absolutely free, no lead fees, and I think you will find it to be the absolute best buyer magnet. Something buyers are going to love, not trapping them. That's what I love about this. This isn't like coming up with some ethical bribe to get buyers to give up their information and then you call them. This is something buyers are going to love, and they're going to call you. That is why we are insanely excited about this, because it's not a lead gen kind of thing where you have some strategy for capturing buyer leads, like, hey, get your home valued, and that's a seller lead kind of thing, and then you go out and hit on these people. This is where buyers are going to come there because they want to, because they're excited, and then they're going to call you. You're going to see this is going to work. So I'm sorry, Mike. I get all excited. I talked way too much, but there it is.
But I just want to add something to that, because I know this feature that Greg's talking about, and it's awesome. But I was sold on this before I knew that, and because what I know is that these solutions like Zillow are not the best solution for the consumer. And what I know is, regardless of the business, regardless of the platform, regardless of what you're doing, if you create a better experience for the consumer, who is our client, if we create a better, more reliable experience for people, we're going to win the game. You know, like, technology is not what made Uber take over Yellow Cab. Technology was the backbone. The reason Uber won is because they created a better experience. Your cars are cleaner. The people are happier. You get to watch the car make its way to you. You know, they just made it a better experience for the user, and that's why they're winning that game. We still have the ability to take back the control and give the buyers and sellers the experience that they really want. They're not looking to save money. They're looking to buy or sell, and they will pay the right price if the value and the experience is there.
And Sam, you know the secret sauce. I shared that with you. I'm asking you candidly, is it not the most powerful thing you could possibly offer that no one else is, that buyers are going to totally love, and has nothing to do with price or commission or anything like that? It's just something buyers are going to love that nobody else is offering. Isn't that accurate?
You're gonna give them exactly what they want, and they're gonna be excited to get it, and it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Hey, Greg, I want to go over, because if we have some of the agents that are watching this video right now, maybe they're newer in the business, maybe they've only been in the business for a year or two, and they're not looking at the bigger picture on what's happening in the industry. So I would like to repeat on the why behind this, because I think it's extremely important. And I'll give my opinion. Mike and Sam, please feel free to chime in. But what I'm seeing consistently on a daily basis is that realtors are losing out to, you know, the less expensive competition, if you will. Now, the question you have to say is, why is that, right? And I believe that a lot of the larger companies are creating the impression, that, hey, you could do this without a realtor. And it's a lot easier, and you could save a lot of money. Now, Sam hit it on the dot. A lot of these programs, you know, the last thing realtors have left, we have two things. One, we used to control the information, so they almost needed us at that point to find out about properties for sale. But two is, we don't no longer control the information, but we do control actual service facilitation and whatnot. And I want to get your guys' opinions on what you guys think the facilitation play on this is. Where's the realtor's role going in the future if no one does anything, I guess is my point. If you're not matching buyers and sellers, how else do you compete in the process? And I think that's exactly what you're trying to, how important it is to control that we have the listings. The realtor's listings are the realtor's listings. Does that make sense, or am I just talking on it?
It does make sense. I think what I think is going to happen is, if we don't do anything, we don't take back control, we don't do something that's better for the consumer, better for the industry, better for us, if we don't do that now, I think in the next 3 to 5 years, sooner than most people want to admit, we're going to realize that a large percentage of business is being done through these discount type solutions, which means a large percentage of agents, not people like Bjorkman that know how to make an awesome experience and earn the business. People like Mike are going to still make tons of money. People like Greg are going to make tons of money. But the majority of people are going to be forced into going into these hourly type caca scenarios where they're going to work their face off, they're going to make less money, they're going to have the same stress, the same challenges, they're going to have a boss. None of us four got into this business for where this business is going right now. And I know that we can say the same for everyone that's listening. Right now is the time to keep this industry as what we want it, and what's really ultimately better for the consumer. One last thought here. You know, these competitors, they're leaning into how expensive agents are. You know, I think that in the next 5 to 10 minutes, and I'm exaggerating there a little bit, people are going to realize what happens when you hire someone that's willing to work for next to nothing. And we need to be leaning into the pain of hiring a bozo to do your transaction. I don't want Bozo the Clown coming to list my home. And I'll tell you what, when you're getting a listing for $3,000 and the expenses and the time it takes, the only person that's going to do that is a bozo.
I know where I was going with that comment earlier. You're exactly right. So yesterday,
that should be a commercial, Greg.
Yes, that was awesome. I love that. The list with the bozo. Yes.
Check out this fade I got. So yesterday, I have 2 haircut places. One's a barbershop. The other one's sports clips. I went to the barbershop today because I wanted to get this mid fade right here. See how pretty that looks? Now I paid more money. I paid more money for the barbershop by about $10 or $15 more than I would have at sports clip. And the only reason was that I wanted this middle fade. This guy, like, it takes like half an hour to cut my hair versus 10 minutes. So I see a lot of realtors, like, and you see these in groups like Lab Coats all the time. It's like, what's my value? And a lot of agents don't understand what the value is that they bring to the table. And Sam's exactly right. People, the technology companies are trying to position us like save money, save money, save money. But I believe that's just smoke and mirrors, because the truth is that people don't care so much about saving money as much as they do is getting a fair service at a fair price. People don't care if you charge a 6% commission. They care that you earn it, is what it comes down to.
Yeah, they only care when there's an absence of value.
Absolutely.
Like, they'll pay the price when the price is worth it, but when you're coming with a weak approach, or you're not confident, or you're not the calming force of the transaction, all of these things are what are causing us to be beat out by commission. Where I know someone like Mike Bjorkman walks in the room, he's going to get his 6%, if not his 7%. He's going to get the deal done, and he's going to get 3 referrals because he makes it an awesome experience. Same reason, look, you could go to Black Angus and get a $10 steak, but most of us are not going to, you know, last night we went to this new place. The guy spent $6.5 million building a steakhouse. The cheapest steak was like $80 on the menu. Why did I go? Because it's a better experience than going to Black Angus and eating a piece of rubber, right?
Let me, we got a question here. I think it's important to address this right now. And this question comes from Chris. Chris, thank you. It says, hey, we went through this already in the early 2000s with the help you sells and blah, 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 blah. It went away because the agents that they had were idiots and provided no service. I do agree with that, but in the 2000s, the technology and the influence of these major corporations wasn't there as it is today.
They weren't backed by billions.
They weren't backed by billions, and consumer confidence is ultimately what I think is the ticket here. And when there's a billion-dollar company pumping, like if you look at the latest consumer trends report, actually Zillow just released, it said 1 in 5 sellers wish they never hired an agent, right? 1 in 5 sellers said they wish they just went for sale by owner and they didn't hire an agent, right? So that's a big number for sellers.
That's a huge number.
Satisfied. The average the satisfaction percentages of consumers across the United States average about 60-61% of people who used an agent. So what I'm trying to get at is that came in with an industry problem, but that information is what's getting pumped through the consumers.
And if I could,
please.
I'm sorry. So when I was in San Diego, Sam, the seminar you were at, I was at one with Career Compass a few days later, the one you were at, you might recall that an agent stood up in the room when I was talking, and she said, you know, Greg, I lost 2 listings in the last few weeks to, I think it was Redfin, to Redfin's 1% commission, to discount commission. She said, I've never done that before. I've never had that happen before. We talked a little about that, and what I pointed out to her, I said, let me ask you a question. over the years, have you competed before against agents who charged less, who didn't offer big value and were simply just going in on commission? And she said, yes. I said, have you won? She said, I used to win all the time. I was always winning. She said, that's why I just can't believe I lost like $70,000 in commissions, 2 listings to Redfin's 1%. And I said, well, you see, that's the point. You didn't really lose. And this is the point that all you guys are making. You didn't really lose to Redfin's 1%. You lost to their marketing power. You see, companies like Redfin, they're losing money. They can afford to do what you can't. They are losing money to get market share. They just want to get market share right now. And if you look at Redfin, look at Zillow. Zillow is losing money to get market share. So the problem is, in the past, we've always competed just against each other. And then whomever won the listing, we all joined together to help that person sell it. That's one of the cool aspects of our industry. That's no longer the only, each other is no longer the challenge. Now, individually, like the lady that stood up, the agent who stood up at the seminar you were at, Sam, we are competing against these major corporations with massive marketing power, so that when you go in on a listing appointment, you're not just competing against an agent who charges less, who you know you can beat. You know you can prove that your value proposition is better. Mike could do that all day long. You're competing against a company that's spending $20 million in your market in marketing and willing to lose money. That's tough to beat a company like that. That's why we need this website. If we have our own website and it has the buyers, if we collectively come together and our website has the buyers, guess where sellers are going to go? To the people who have the buyers. That will put us in a position to compete against the, and I, again, not throwing Redfin particularly under the bus, Purple Bricks up in Los Angeles. UK, in from the UK with $60 million. I think they charge a $3,400 flat fee commission. It puts you in a position to compete against them if you have the buyers, if you're part of the entrepreneurial profession that has the buyers.
They actually started emailing agents in San Diego last week saying that they're opening up the market, they're doing this $3,600 thing, and you could come work for them and make upwards of $150,000 a year.
Yeah.
Can you believe that? Can you believe the opportunity?
There's so many people that have gotten real estate licenses in the last 10 years that have seen an end of a crazy recession, plus competing with big top agents, team agents in the last 10 years that said, screw this, we're going to go back to work. They're making 50 or 60 grand a year. They see that email, they're going to jump on it, and they're going to say, honey, if I can make 100 grand at this company versus 60 grand at this company, isn't it worth a shot?
Right.
And you know, and somebody smart at Purple Bricks is going to give them a script. You know, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I can appreciate the fact you're talking to some of the other normal traditional companies. Look at the technology we have. Look what we have for backup. We have an entire designated team to walk you through this escrow. Most agents are driving people around in circles. They're doing files. They're making flyers. They're uploading pictures. We have a dedicated team to make sure things don't fall through the cracks. Wouldn't it be better to save 15, 20 grand and at least try it with us than go with a traditional real estate company? I could sell that all day long, and then we could sell it both ways backwards. But the fact is, just like 10 years ago, the banks actually tried to take over the real estate industry, and they said, we don't need agents. We'll just have our in-house agents, just like we have in-house lenders. We'll pay them all $50 an hour and make them go show houses when necessary. And luckily, the NAR lobbyists beat that. But that was a very close thing. Now, we all know Zillow has test marketed in Seattle, Miami, San Diego, their actual brokerage model. And this was in 2011 or 12, I want to say. And they actually tested it, and it worked. They found out the logistics were a little tricky, but they were actually hiring agents under a different brokerage name, and they were using the lead generated off the website to actually go out and list homes, and it worked. There's a couple other websites out there right now that'll say, we'll give you 50% of the commission back if you buy. We're going to give you a dedicated agent, they call it customer service liaison, that'll meet you at the properties of your choice at the time you want. All this stuff, it's real. And I hate to use the travel agent cliche, but it's so true. you said we're going to need to compete, right? So we are. I have a travel agent. She's amazing. I only use her when things get really complicated. If I'm going to Europe, if I'm switching planes, I can't find a cheap enough first class ticket. If I'm going to Phoenix today, just like you are, I booked it on my app, which is faster and easier than calling a travel agent. That is the bottom line. But I still have a travel agent, and I have to have her because she's awesome. But we're going to have to compete like that because, you know, I have good friends. We all have good friends on this call that are using auction.com for their own properties. Not in the MLS. They're using auction.com, and they're completely 100% satisfied with that experience. So all these things coming together, people are going to come after us from different directions with different technology. And not only do we have to be prepared, but we have to be able to uphold our value, like we were saying. Our value means everything, and our value propositions and what we're going to do. The website you're talking about is an amazing website. I want to believe wholeheartedly that that is possible to take our buyers back. I don't know if it's possible for this country to rally together and disconnect our data from these, you know, big websites. I mean, all this would be over today if every broker in this country said, bye-bye, no more, you're out of my stuff. I mean, if we disconnected Zillow, Realtor.com, Redfin, all these people, it would be over. We would be back to normal. People would see our value for what we are. And that is something that the next Greg should focus on. I mean, I would be more than happy to crowdfund for that. But until these brokers get the nerve to come together and do this, this might be the next best thing. And
I think if I could add to that, Mike, though, I totally agree with you. Everyone needs to stop the feed, but I think that a percentage, not all, some are scared, but I think some are just wanting somewhere to use something else so they're not, in their mind, doing a disservice to their client.
Yes.
And I think that Greg's platform gives us the ability to have somewhere else to take it, and then once we do, then we can choose. The ones that want to can cut feed, and the ones that don't. You know, I've been preaching don't feed from day one, you know, since the day we started this company, and others have been all about it. But once we have a better place for them to go, then it almost becomes our fiduciary responsibility to get people to a better platform, which then means we got to stop the feed, in my opinion.
And you took the word right out of my mouth. That's where I was going. So that's what I was saying, Greg. With this website, I think a lot of people want to know, because when we promoted this webinar, people were calling me saying, don't beat Zillow. We survive off Zillow. We love Zillow. We don't mind paying for leads. We have friends that are paying $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a month for leads from Realtor.com and Zillow. So the biggest question I have, and it's text messages right now coming through saying, who is going to fund this website? If it's that big, what is going to pay to keep this website?
Hey, real quick, Greg,
those are the questions that they're answering.
So here's real quick, just so everybody knows, is this on this call, we're not like, you know, Greg has come up with a way to compete, that Greg is building this website with or without people. He's just offering, hey, if you want to get involved in this. And what he's doing is just creating competition so that we can compete, just so everyone on the call is on the same exact page. But Mike, please go ahead and ask that question to Greg again, because that was good.
Yeah, I think it's important. I'd like to answer exactly.
How is this website going to be funded? Who's going to advertise it? Is it going to be First American, Home Warranties, and things like that advertise on the site? Or is there just an agent brokerage fee to be on it every month? How do you envision that? And I can't begin to tell you, since we started talking about this, how many people are asking about this. When I shared your last video, that was all the comments on it. Who's funding it? And
it's the perfect question. It's a fair question, and everybody deserves to know. Before they would even put $1 in to crowdfund it, what's the long-term plan? So let me explain my vision of it. But first of all, I want to echo what Sam said, and that is that I believe the single thing we need, those agents who are advertising on Zillow right now, I have no heartburn about that. What I want to do is give you an alternative so that you have an alternative where you can get that same amount of business without having to pay Zillow. So let's start there. Those of you who go out on listing appointments, if you believe right now that it's in the best interest of your seller to upload their home to Zillow, you should do that. You should do what's in the best interest of your seller. That's what they hire you to do. The goal of this website is to give you an alternative, to give you a website that doesn't post inaccurate valuations next to your list price, that doesn't post agents who have never seen the home or clueless about your seller's home next to the home, who might divert interested buyers away to their own listings, to give you that alternative to discuss with your sellers, to say, you know, there is this one website and it doesn't do any of these things that would hurt, I believe might hurt the sale of your home. And your seller would say, no, I don't want to be on Zillow and I want to be on that one, to give you that option. And that, in my view, is the way. Then what happens? We don't all get together and decide to pull our data from Zillow and everyone else. We individually, I'm an individualist, I'm like an entrepreneurial guy, we individually see that we have a website that is free, and I'll talk to you about that in a minute, that is better for our sellers, and that we decide not to, with our sellers, upload those listings. That's, in my view, the way to do this, because we do it then in a way that's in the best interest of our sellers. And if we have a website that is truly better for sellers, and it's swamped with buyers, if it's swamped with buyers, then we will be able to pull off all these other websites, take our profession back in a good way, in a way to better serve buyers and sellers, not selfish. Take it back so they're better served, so they're not misled. That's what this website vision is all about. Now, in terms of how funded, 3 parts to the funding. Part 1, we're trying to raise $1.1 million in the crowdfunding campaign, and we're right now about 3.5 weeks in, and we've raised about $220,000. We're trying to raise $1.1 million to do 3 things. Number 1, build the website. Number 2, build out the marketing. TV, internet ads, that's very expensive. A good TV commercial ain't cheap. To build that out, and then to spend about $150,000, that's what it will take with securities attorneys to do a securities offering once the website is proven. Once you have seen, the industry has seen that it works, once the industry has seen with just a little contribution, what, 25, 50, 100 bucks, very little risk. Once you have seen that, oh my gosh, this thing really does do what Mike and Sam and Greg said it would. It sucks buyers like crazy, and they love it, and they call us. Then we're going to launch, our plan is to launch what's known as a Regulation A+ securities offering. This was an expedited, kind of an expedited IPO that was authorized under the Jobs Act a few years ago to make it easy for startup companies to have widespread ownership without the extreme expense of a normal IPO. You can raise $50 million a year through this. It's an expedited IPO. We have that all planned to do. Our plan is next year. And this would allow agents, everybody that wants to buy in, $100, a few $100 to buy in. We believe that $50 million will sell out almost instantly. I mean, if 1 out of 12 realtors invested a few $100s, it would sell out in one morning. So that's step 2, is to raise that $50 million once the website's proven. Once you've tried it, you've seen it works in your market individually, no major national marketing, you've tested it, you've tried it, you've done a little personal marketing free. We're not going to charge you for this. And you've said, oh my gosh, this really does work. I uploaded a listing to this thing. I marketed, you know, the idea of this website. The consumers downloaded the app, and they called me. I've never gotten so many buyers' calls for so little money. My sellers love it. Once that's proven, we go to the securities offering, agents buy in, then we launch a national advertising campaign. $50 million is plenty of money to launch, not long-term, but to launch a major 4-month marketing campaign nationwide, TV, radio, billboards, print media, $50 million. You can really make an impact. And then when the website nationally is swamped with buyers, of course, who's going to own it at that point? I will be an owner because I'm going to buy in. I'm going to stay involved. But you guys will be owners. So then the big question, which you asked, Mike, is how is it funded from there? I think there are a number of ways, and this will be up to the people, you know, the people who own it. I think that we've gotten spoiled, and I know a lot of your listeners are going to text you and they're going to have heartburn about this maybe, but I'm going to say it anyway. We've gotten spoiled by having free listing uploads. Everything's free. Zillow's free, it's all free. Well, it ain't free, guys. You may not be paying 30 or 40 bucks to upload your listing. That may be free, but what it's costing you in credibility as an industry, in buyers that you lose, in sellers you're going to lose because you're losing the buyers and you're going to lose the sellers, what it's costing you is way bigger than a lousy 30 or 40 bucks per listing upload. So in the Phoenix market, what we're planning to do is, once we have that done, is to improve it, and agents are loving it and they're seeing that it works. We're planning to institute like a $35, $40 per listing upload fee experimentally. There are 9,000 listings uploaded here in Phoenix each month. We believe that we'll get half the agents to go ahead and pay that to try it out. That would give us, if you figure 4,000 times 40 bucks, that gives you $150,000, $160,000 a month. Going to plug that money into marketing, and we believe we'll have that will light up this website like crazy, and that a $40 upload fee for the business that an agent would get off this is not, I mean, it's the cost of putting up a sign. It's the cost of putting up a sign.
$40 to upload a listing is cheaper than paying to be the agent on someone else's listing, and the reason they're paying it is to get the leads. So for 40 bucks, you're on your own listing, you're getting the leads, your sellers are getting the exposure. I think that, Mike, to like your buddies and my buddies that are spending 30, 40, 10, $6,000 a month, you're going to spend so much less and have so much more control if you just spend 40 bucks for an upload. And that's, you know, not even counting the other stuff that you mentioned, Bjorkman. Let's say that we get some good national advertisers, you know, like there's plenty of people that want to get in front of this consumer, and they're the right people that make the transaction better, smoother, and play well with realtors.
Okay.
So I have a question here. Is asked, are you planning on selling ads to agents?
Like, no, ads where they can advertise next to listings? No, yeah. Absolutely not.
I think that's the entire point here. This is a website that is owned by the real estate community, much like how you said earlier, how Realtor.com should have been. Same concept, a place where the listings are controlled by the agent community to reestablish control of listings.
Now, I think we can bring in a huge amount of money by selling advertising to affiliates, you know, mortgage companies, title companies, furniture companies, everybody that wants to get in front of our clients. I think we can bring in amazing revenue to continue to promote their website and diminish our fees. But selling ads to agents, no, that's what you don't want. You do not want to do that. Yeah. This is your website. You don't want to sell ads to yourself. Just use it. Enjoy it.
Yep.
Amen.
Yeah. Now, Greg, can you and folks, can you explain what agents can do that are interested in getting involved? I know we mentioned the website here, but I did want to let everybody know about the your coaching thing that you just give away.
Well, it's not just mine, and so here's what you can do. First of all, you can go to stopzillow.com. That will shoot you there, or plantosaverealestate.com. Same thing, takes you to the same place. It's no longer about Stop Zillow. It's about building this website we as a profession desperately need. Go there, just read what I have. Read it, watch the videos. If you like it, then give it a chance. Give it a chance. Kick in 25, 50 bucks. Help Mike and me and Sam and all of us. Just give it a chance. Is it a guarantee? Is this a guarantee that for your 25 or 50 bucks we can take our profession back, knock out Zillow, take every buyer? No, it's not a guarantee. There's nothing in life that's a guarantee. But I'm busting my ass to make this happen. I'm throwing in major money, 12 hours a day. I'm paying a team out of my pocket to do it, not out of the crowdfunding money. And nothing that became amazing, like Amazon or Uber. They all started on a napkin. They all started where people in the beginning, when Uber came up with their idea, said, you guys are nuts. All the cities will never let you do it. You got a license you can't do this. It's a ridiculous idea. That's what they were told in the beginning. Go back and look at the history. But look at what Uber pulled off. We can do it, but it won't happen unless a small group of people who are committed and work insane, like me and like Sam and Mike and you, do something to make it happen. So that's the first thing you can do, is just go in and contribute. 25, 50, 100 bucks. The perks, yeah, you get, I don't sell my training anymore. I didn't want anybody to think that I was doing this to try to build my training company. So the only way you can, for example, get my really good luxury home course where I teach. I became #1 in Arizona in luxury homes using certain strategies. Used to be one of the best-selling courses in the country for $297. You can't buy it. You cannot buy it from me. I will not sell it to you. Just go to the website, contribute $50 to save your ass to the website you need. Sorry, but go contribute $50 to save your butt and save our profession, and I'll give it to you. Kevin Ward, who's a great trainer, has free stuff there. Bob Stoltz has his Facebook marketing library up there. You get 3 months of that if you contribute $200. It's all my giveaway stuff that every person has contributed. Nobody's taking money out of this. It's all just extra perks. Why? Because I hired a crowdfunding expert. She's amazing. Her name is Sally Outlaw. Sally Outlaw. And check her out. She is a crowdfund. And she says, Greg, you can't just go for the mission. You have to give bonuses and perks. Every crowdfunding website does. Give people valuable perks, and that's what we're doing. But the reason I want you to contribute is because you want to give this a chance. Give us a hand and give this a chance.
And I'd say you can also share the message, like tell people in your office, tell your broker to have, Greg come and speak, tell your, the people on the other side of the transactions, spread the word. If we all just put in a few bucks, we might actually have something that's better for us, better for the consumer, better for the future, and just cost you a couple bucks of,
And one thing, selfishly, those who contribute on February 19th, you get this first. You get this in your hands to use. The app, the website, absolutely free, no fees, no upload fees. Be clear. In the early months, no upload fees, no nothing. Nothing will be charged to you until you see that it works yourself for free. That's the way this needs to be. So be crystal clear. Everybody who contributes $25 or more is going to get this on February 19th, going to be able to use it, kick the tires. And I think there was a product called the Coolest Cooler. They did a crowdfunding campaign on like the Coolest Cooler, and it was like amazing when it finally came out, and they raised like $1 million to make this Coolest Cooler. I want you to see that this is the coolest cooler in real estate. At that point, we can talk about upload fees and things. Once you've made money from it, absolutely free, and that's why another reason you should contribute. On the 19th, you're going to get this, and you're going to get to have the coolest cooler and make sure it keeps stuff cool.
There you go. Worst case scenario, I mean, get the content for $25. Come
exactly.
On,
how do you lose?
Come on. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
For a luxury training kit, I'm in.
Yeah. And quite frankly, some of the stuff I used, in 2 years, I decided, that's a fun story. So I was selling normal priced homes like everybody else. I was, I don't mean to boast, but I was #1 in Arizona, but I should have been. I grew up in the business. I'm an attorney. I'm an insanely hard worker. So, I had the right ingredients and a good head start, but I decided to go into luxury homes. So I spent months figuring out a whole different approach, because there's all these big dog luxury home agents. Back when I did this 15 years ago in Arizona, had big names. So I came up with this whole different approach. In the end of year 2, I was #1 in Arizona in luxury homes, written up in the Business Journal. I mean, that's not like me hyping it. It was in the Business Journal. Greg ranked #1 in luxury home sales, Greg and his team. That's what you get by going in and contributing $50. And the materials that I use and still use today, you get those too. So I don't want you...
You're rich. You better do more than $50.
Damn right. Darn right.
Hey, I got a question here for you, Greg. Says, Greg, are you familiar with the new Phoenix company, Revine RE, which really targets sellers and free listings for them, plus a la carte items they can buy, connecting them directly to buyers? Are they much of a threat?
They right now have not become much of a threat. I'm familiar with them and a number of companies in Phoenix. We've had these for years that offer all kinds of discount, a la carte. Go in MLS for $1.50, I don't know, we'll put you whatever, and they have not become any kind of a threat yet. I know no one who has lost a listing to them. I'm not saying they're not getting some business, but the answer is no. I've not seen them become any formidable threat at all.
And folks, if you guys have more questions, now is your time to ask them. I'm watching them right now, and they're starting to come in, so please go ahead and keep asking them if you like.
Again, the thing about price, I get this all the time with our realtors and other people. Price is only an objection when there's absence of value. Like, you see it in so many different places. The good quality stuff, like, look, Ritz-Carlton is still booked every night, like, and so is Holiday Inn. The question is, what game do you want to play? And if you want to play the game with high margin, high profitability, high efficiency, better experience, better quality, you need to learn how to have the right value.
Yep.
Yep.
I really believe that most everybody listening can go out individually on a listing appointment and have a value proposition that allows you to charge a fair commission and not one of these ridiculous nothing commissions. I really believe the big challenge we face is not competing individually, but it's competing against the massive companies that have massive money that will take sellers away from you before they ever listen to you. You'll never get in the door. You need to get in the door, and that's what this website's going to allow you to do. Because remember, if you have the buyers, if sellers realize you're part of the entrepreneurial profession that has the buyers, they're going to want to talk with you. Then, I'll just say it coldly, I'm sorry. If you go out and lose at that point, you better take a look at your value proposition. That's the bottom. Then it's you. But at least this will get you in the door because you have the buyers, and sellers are going to want to talk to you.
Yep.
Love it.
Drew, I got a couple more
listing
questions.
presentation setup is just like that. People, we go in and use our market plan. We only have to share the first 3 or 4 items with it, and then there is no more commission objections ever. It's very, very rare. Yeah, they see the value and they go, oh, no other agent has showed me that. So,
This webinar will be available for downloads. We will be putting it up on YouTube. We'll be circulating it on social media. Greg, can you go ahead and share your Facebook page as well?
Yeah, well, I can bring it up here. It's just Greg Hague on Facebook, just Greg Hague on Facebook, or that's me personally. If you want to friend me, we have Stop Zillow on Facebook. That's where now we've introduced the website. That's a hugely viable page. So you can go over to Stop Zillow and see the action there. But most importantly, check out what we have at stopzillow.com or plantosaverealestate.com. It's all the same thing now. Look at that. And if you like what you see, kick in something, make a nice comment, share it, and give us a hand and be part of the solution. My view is, let's stop complaining and let's solve the problem.
Yeah, be a bro.
Yeah.
We got some good questions coming in, guys. So here's another one from Christopher. Have we done research on the stages of development and adoption for the consumer services website? Like, what's that traditional curve look like? And he uses an example, like, for example, Realtor.com. They're still trying to figure out. They're trying to market to consumers, and they're still spending heavy. Like, basically, how are we going to know what's right and wrong? I think nobody knows the consumers better than the realtors and the realtors behind the business. It's like when you see all these technology companies try to create technology for businesses they're not involved in, they always end up sort of a little bit backwards. Same concept. I think a lot of that, nobody knows more what consumers want than the people actually on the front lines.
And now we control it. And then the other thing to add to that is any platform that wants to win is going to continue to be testing different things. So, you know, Greg's already told me he's going to roll it out, but he's got an awesome team of people that are going to be continuously testing. How does this work? How does that work? How does this convert? How does that convert? But more importantly, their tests are going to be in line with protecting our best interest alongside the client's best interest. So I definitely don't think that there's a magic wand, but I do think that or Greg has a team of the right people that are committed to building this the right way, and that all in itself is, to me, going to be enough of a threat to make this a solution.
And if I could pitch in, Sam, when we spoke, I think last week, I did kind of an ad lib commercial. Could be radio, TV, doesn't matter. I did an ad lib commercial for you. You see, one of the things I've learned over years in real estate is that most realtors have kind of a generic, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be critical, but mushy message. It's just kind of, hey, I'm here with my photo and I've got 22 years in the business and please talk with me. Just kind of mushy. I believe that you need to have a compelling message, something original, unique, that bang, people hear and they think, oh my gosh, I have to talk to that person. That was one of the biggest things with this website that we worked on. That's where a huge amount of money and thought went, is what kind of a feature, what could we do that would give buyers such an enormous advantage in looking at homes that they would be all over it, and then how we could say it very quickly in a way that buyers would say, I'm checking that out. Sam, I did that just ad-libbed a commercial for you. If I did that with 100 buyers, all of them out there just driving around in their car, and they heard a commercial where I said to them what I said to you, how many do you think would say, I got to check that out of 100?
The large majority. I mean, I'd hate to throw out a number, but a large percentage of those people are going to favor this solution versus another.
And that's the point. It'll save us a fortune to have a good message. And that's one of the problems with Realtor.com, even the NAR. I was looking at I was in an NAR meeting the other day here locally and looking at some of the commercials. They're all this soft, warmy, fuzzy, yay, list with a realtor, we're wonderful, we love you, we take care of you. It's good and it's really upscale, but it's not compelling. There's no bite. There's no single thing that just grabs you and says, I got to make, see, that's one of the failures, of NAR. NAR, realtors are different than real estate agents. Realtors are members of NAR. They abide by a code of ethics. There are things that we are supposedly portrayed as something different, better, special, more capable, and yet NAR has failed to make that distinction. If you poll the public, the average consumer thinks a realtor is a real estate agent. They don't know the difference. The bottom line is we can't let that happen. We can't just be another home search website. That's why we've got this compelling, laser sharp one feature. We're an amazing website, but we've got this one feature. That's what we're going to nail, and you will see that we will spend less money and get more buyer activity, and that's what marketing and that's what a product should be all about.
I really want to know what this feature is. I'm signing a non-disclosure.
Yeah. I'm coming to
I'll sign NDAs and I'll tell you both. Sam, they're going to love it. Are they not? Am I kidding?
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
All right, so here's another question.
But by the way, you have to go sign up for the website launch party. It costs you $500 to get the NDA. Just joking.
You pick me up from the airport, Greg, and talk to me about it on the way to the hotel.
Yorkman's picking up my cost. It's all good. All right, so, sort of like an HOA condo complex, is there going to be a Realtor Contributors Association for the contributor members who pay the $300?
I'm not understanding the question.
I didn't see anything about. I don't know anything about the $300, but basically ongoing. Is there going to be a realtor board, basically advising counsel, more or less? Like
totally. That's what this is. I mean, I don't even want to say this because I just hate to even say it, but the reality is, I'm 69. I'm in great health. I work out every day. I work like a maniac. Worked till 10 last night, but I'm 69. This isn't about me. I'm well off. This isn't about me. I want there to be new, fresh, young blood. Like you guys, 30s, 40s. Yes, there'll be a realtor board. Yes, we're going to make the transition, and I want to do that quickly. I just want to get this going, and then the answer is yes. The contributors and the people who buy in.
That's the key. Is Greg is going to build this and hand it to us, the community, the industry, and we get to do what's right by the consumer and what's right by the industry, and we get to finally have control of the asset that people want to be a part of.
Just don't screw it up, or I'll come out of my wheelchair in a few years and kick your butt.
For those of you that are, I've had the pleasure of meeting Greg a few times in person and gotten to know him very well, but he's doing this literally out of his own goodwill and his own I can't even say the word genuinity, you know what I mean? But, honestly, Greg doesn't really have much upside for this. He's really handing this thing off, and that's probably the most admirable part and why we have your back, Greg.
I appreciate that.
Now, a couple other questions. Keep going, guys. How will you keep Zillow, how will you keep Zillow from data mining the new website and putting the listings on Zillow once again?
Okay, that's a great question. You see, first of all, I don't know if you guys know, but all of you who are listening, but the agreement that the MLS has signed with Zillow, you should see it sometime, just as an aside, and then I'll answer the question. When your data, your seller's data, your photos, your information, your copy is uploaded, Zillow owns it and has rights to use it in whatever way they want, in perpetuity. It's ridiculous. The good news about this website, everything that is uploaded to a website is the property of the website, and in this case, that will be your property, so we are not going to give permission to Zillow or anyone else to data mine and use it, and if they do, it will be a copyright infringement, and I can tell you who my copyright IP attorney is. His name is Mike Keeling. He's amazing, been a friend for years, and he is going to police this thing, and if any of them try it, they're going to get the cease and desist letter like the same day. So that's how we're going to prevent it, because we own it, and we're not going to let them use it.
Greg's last name is spelled Hague.
Correct.
Folks?
First name Greg, G-R-E-G.
Any more questions? I'm going through some ones that we've already answered. If you guys
you've got, it's funny, I'm seeing you've got Adrian on the screen here for me instead of...
I saw that.
That is, I am not Adrian. Adrian is my wonderful social media executive assistant, but I am nowhere near as beautiful as Adrian, trust me.
This is a very good question. Greg, don't you think Zillow's aware of your efforts? And perhaps, maybe they're even on this conference webinar right now. Are you prepared to handle their counterattack?
Answer is, I know Zillow is aware of it because they've called me and I've had conversations with Zillow. The one guy who I've spoken with, he's emailed me, started way back in the early days, trying to convince me not to do this. So yeah, I'm well aware that they're well aware, and I have no doubt that they will, once we launch this, that they will try to match it and emulate our features. And so you know what it's really going to come down to then is and by the way, we are filing a patent. Mike Keeling is filing a patent application on what we're doing, so I think a lot of this will be protected. But here's the bottom line. When we launch, we will be first out with, I promise you, something buyers are going to love. They've never seen before. They're going to love it. They'll be all over it. At some point, there will be similar things out there. There'll be, even with our patent, there'll be similar things out there. Then your question's going to be, you'll have your own website. I'll be older, you'll have your website, this industry will. Are you going to make the mistake that in my view, our MLS and NAR leaders made 15, 20 years ago when they decided to give up our data to third-party websites? Are you going to go and bite off on all these lures, or are you going to keep your own website, the website where you put your listings? I'm going to give you that opportunity, and I'm just going to suggest to you in the years ahead, don't let them sell you on going back and giving up all your stuff to them so they can compete with you. But that, you know, won't be up to me. That will be up to you.
Yep. I think I got through most of these. If you guys have any final questions you want to ask, it's about, yeah, we're approaching about an hour, just a little bit over. We're going to get this thing wrapped up. We got a couple more questions for Greg. Greg, another one that came in right here is, what kind of feedback have you received from the broker owners, the brokerages across the U.S.?
Really fantastic feedback, like with Sam, you know, and Mike. Just the brokers realize, and I actually have a video on this up on the Plan to Save Real Estate crowdfunding site. The brokers realize that what is hurting their agents is going to hurt them. If their agents lose on listings, ultimately they will lose agents. If their agents lose on listings, their agents will lose income, even the ones who stay in the business. And so the brokers really realize how critical this is, that we are successful with this, because the truth is there's nobody else doing anything like this. There are a lot of projects out there, but most of them are kind of alternative MLSs. I'm not suggesting there's anything wrong with that, but that won't save our industry. What's going to save our industry is getting the buyers. We need a website that attracts the buyers away from the other websites. That is what is going to save us, and the broker owners are all about it. I mean, how could you not be?
Yeah, and what we're doing, again, this isn't necessarily about Zillow or any company in particular, as much as it's creating an alternative and a source to compete for the real estate industry in general. Question: yes, the platform will definitely be nationwide.
Yes.
Now, here's a really good question. George asked this. Sellers want most exposure possible and think Zillow is the way to get that. So how are we going to convince them to just be on the new site? Greg, I'll let you go ahead and answer that.
Yeah, great question. They won't be convinced. Great question. That's the point. We need to launch the site and get buyers there. Once the sellers see the buyers are there, then very easy to convince them to be on the new site and to not let their home have an inaccurate value posted next to the asking price, or agents who don't know the home posted next to it. It's an easy sell to sellers if there's an alternative where they know the buyers are. It's an almost impossible sell if you don't have that alternative, and
Yeah.
that's what this website's
And
about.
I don't think that Greg is saying don't use Zillow. He's saying we might be able to create something that eventually is better than Zillow, and when it is, we can choose to do what we think is best for our clients. For right now, if you are an advocate of Zillow and you're buying leads, great, good on you. But it doesn't mean that you shouldn't support something that could be better and will be better and will protect your longevity and your profitability in this business.
Yes.
Yep. Any further questions? When is the site is launched, will the agents list their property on it and the local MLS? It's going to be a manual upload from what I understand.
Yeah. We've worked, yes, it's a manual upload. The agents, when you have a listing, we have worked the technology, this is where big money's going. You will be able to upload your listings. You'll do it yourself. You'll do it from your smartphone, and it will take less than a minute. So it's going to take less than a minute. That's one of the things we're working on hard, because we knew that if it takes you 5 or 10 or 15 minutes to get a listing up on this thing, that's going to be a problem. You're not going to want to spend that time. You should, but you won't. I've been there. So you're going to be able to upload it from your smartphone. It's going to take less than a minute, and bang, there it'll be. Yes.
Folks, get this webinar, share it on social, share it to your friends, share it on Facebook, give it to your broker, give it to your board. There's someone who just commented right here. Let me find it. She's on the board. How can we, let me find the question, but point is, share this. I mean, there's just 4 of us now here on this call, and Greg's building this thing for the real estate industry, not necessarily himself, and you know, it's pretty admirable, Greg, what you're doing. We appreciate your efforts, but that's how you get the word out. Share it. To get the 1.1 million, you're about 25% of the way there already, and that's just in 28 days. So if you guys can commit.
And Greg will come out and speak at your board, and he'll come speak at your brokerage. I mean, ideally not for like 1 or 3 people. Like, you know, get a room of, and he can decide what that number is. But the point is, connect with Greg. He has the resources. Connect with his team. He made it really easy for us to promote an event. He flew out on his dime. He paid for the hotel. He showed up. He killed it. The agents loved it. He's doing something great, and he's making it easy for you to say yes. All you have to do is say yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Kristen, this is the the comment I was looking for. Kristen writes, how the best to put the word on this website and what Greg's doing. She's involved in leadership in her local real estate board, and she wants to get the real estate industry leaders locally involved. How can I help? Share this webinar. Share it to your members, and just share it. The knowledge is power, and let people know what's going on and what we're doing. Well, Greg's
And just email me if you have anyone, if you have any way I can help. Sam is so right. I will fly on my own nickel. I will put myself up my own nickel. I don't want to do it for 2 or 3 people. That doesn't make sense. I'll do a webinar for 2 or 3 people, whatever. But my email is Greg, G-R-E-G, at realestatemaverics.com. That's plural, Greg at realestatemaverics.com. Shoot me an email, and I'll give you then my cell phone number. You can call me, and I'll be there. You get me in front of the right people, I'll get on a plane, and I will be there. That's how big a deal this is to me.
And the site again, Greg, and we'll get this wrapped up unless you folks got any other final questions.
I got a dip. I got another meeting.
The website, Greg, one more time.
Yes, it is plan2saverealestate.com or stopzillow.com, the old stopzillow.com. Either one will take you to the crowdfunding site. That's where you can show your support, contribute, read what we're doing, and anything you give, anything, would be appreciated. Leave a nice comment, just a thumbs up, and say, yeah, I heard you on the webinar, love it, and what can I do to support? Would appreciate it.
And you can share directly from that page on virtually Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, email. You can copy the link. I mean, everything's there. It's shareable, so just literally click of a button, folks. Greg, once again, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for doing this. Sam, Michael Bjorkman, thank you guys very much. Does anyone else have any closing thoughts?
Go to the website and let's fire this thing up.
Let's do it.
Yeah, do it.
Do it. Take action.
Just do it. Just do it. Just
don't complain. Don't bitch. Don't moan. You don't get cry because you lost competition. Do something about it. Get involved. If you believe in the message, do it. That's all I can say. I think everyone here agrees on that. And without further ado, thank you, everybody. Everyone have a good day, and thank you guys for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.